Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the second webcast that Feed the Hunger is putting together. We're trying to do this quarterly, as we mentioned in November. And I know a lot of people watched the one in November, and hopefully you were blessed by that. And we have another great lineup prepared for you tonight. I want to introduce myself. I'm Scott Hahn, the Chief Operations Officer here at Feed the Hunger, and I'm joined this evening by Joseph Williams, our Chief Executive Officer.
Hello, everyone. Great to see you. I know I'm talking to both people that are live, and we actually had multiple more watch it on the website after the fact. So we understand that life is busy, and so we're just grateful for you making the time, whether it's live or later. But we definitely appreciate those of you who are tuning in live today so that we can interact with you.
That's right. We also just want to say a special thanks to those of you joining us either live or going back and watching us, to our Circle of Friend partners, our prayer partners, our Packathon participants. You guys are what makes this ministry work. Your prayers and your giving enable God to make a difference in the lives of lots of needy people all around the world. And it's about bringing the hope of Christ to them in real, tangible ways that they can feel, that they can experience, and we're here to meet their physical and spiritual hungers. And so you guys play a key role in making that possible. And so we just thankful that you took time out to be updated here. Our desire tonight is to inspire and inform you. Once again, we are going to just hear a general update from Joseph in just a little bit, and then we do have another ministry partner from India that we interviewed a few weeks ago, and we'll play that interview and you can get a fresh update from what's happening in his region of the world. And then we're going to be joined by our newest staff member after that video for an interview with her, so you can get to know her as well. And then we're going to finish with, like we did last time, with a Q&A period. And so we just invite you at any time during the webcast tonight, that if you have a question of something that was said or brought up and you want further clarity, then you can, on the bottom of your Zoom screen or Zoom window, you can use that chat feature and submit a question. And Joseph and I will circle back to it at the end. Also, there is a couple poll questions that we're sending out that you'll have an opportunity to answer. It's just 2 questions, but it'll help us identify the best time to hold these every 3 months. And so we want as many people to be able to join us live as possible. But we need your feedback to make sure we're picking the best times. As you remember, in November, we tried one during the afternoon and had good participation. And so a lot of people said they had hoped to join us then, but they were busy with work. So we decided to try an evening time slot and see if that works better. So please fill out that poll, give us that feedback. We greatly appreciate it. All right, I'm going to pull Joseph in right now. And we had a great 2021. God blessed Feed the Hunger tremendously. And so Joseph, just give our friends and listeners a quick summary of 2021, if you will.
Yeah, I think the best way to do that is to share with you the annual report that should be hitting mailboxes, I believe, this week. And in the next 24 hours or less, it will be on the homepage of our website. So rather than me sharing with you a couple of stories, I actually want to walk you really quickly through the annual report and tease you with the stories that you're going to need to go and read in the report. So as Scott mentioned, we did have a great year in spite of the pandemic. It's not surprising that God's work often thrives in the midst of challenges. And so we adapted to the pandemic as we did in 2020, and we moved forward as best we could. So we're just going to flip through this like in 60 seconds just to tease you to really read this for yourself. But as you can see on the left-hand side is both table of contents, but also how we done financially, how we expense your giving, your gracious giving to the ministry. And then there's a message from me that I believe the Lord has for us this year. We love sharing stories of what your partnership is making possible. And so there are several stories here, specifically of Bibles on this spread here. So let's keep going. And then The numbers, like I've shared before, numbers are great, but they only mean something if there's quality behind the quantity. And so this map basically shows the quantity, but just be assured that there is quality. There is the individual focus on people, not just in mass, but we're really concerned about the individual, just as Jesus was. And so that's what this map represents, what you did last year. And this few stories about the food and where we packed in the US, and we had our biggest year ever of packing food, which is a great thing, a great testimony to God's people, helping us find that balance between navigating the pandemic using proper precaution, but still being bold and brave, because as you know, the needs have only gotten bigger since the pandemic started. And we also launched EduPack recently. So here's some stories about EduPack, as well as medical outreach that we did in India. You're actually going to hear more about that in the interview today. You're going to love. And some of the resources that we offered you last year, and you can always access these for free online on our website, or if you'd like a hard copy, all you have to do is just let us know and we'll get those to you. So that is the report that you need to read in detail very soon on our website, like I said, within the next 24 hours, but it also should be hitting mailboxes later this week.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and hope all of you are as well. Joseph, we are 40 days almost into 2022. What kind of start has Feed the Hunger had so far in this new year?
Yeah, well, I know what my start was because I had COVID the first 2 weeks of the year. So I really felt like I lost a lot of my January. So there's a bad news and good news with how the year has started. You know, the bad news is that we put a pause on all packathons for the entire month. We wanted to let Omicron run its course. We didn't want to tempt Omicron with major gatherings, even though it seems to be less severe. We certainly didn't ever want a packathon to be a super spreader. So we have a lot of catch up to do, and packathons actually started this past weekend, and we'll be packing here locally in the next couple of days. The good news is that because of your generous giving near the end of the last year, so many of you graciously gave, we've had a lot of satisfaction and joy in dispersing a lot of funds to our partners just to further the cause of Christ. And so that's always a very rewarding experience for us. And we look forward to sharing a lot of those specific things that you made possible in the very near future, because they're very diverse, and yet we still continue to focus on those main hungers, meeting those main hungers of the people that our partners serve. So, and then I should say there's been another challenge, as you all know, that actually started at the end of last year, that I just want Scott to briefly address, and that's how has inflation, certainly from an operations standpoint, Scott can answer how inflation has affected our ministry.
Yes, indeed. We haven't escaped it, just like I don't think anyone has globally. Inflation has been a challenge for us really for all of last year too. We were seeing increases in pricing. Traditionally with our packathons, our food vendors usually give us a price and that lasts for the year, certainly 6 months. But last year was unique in that then most of our food vendors were changing their prices with every order almost. It was almost a monthly change. And so all of those increases have added up. By the end of the year, the food cost was 2 cents more to us than what it had been at the start of the year. And so we've actually had to increase our meal price per meal to 32 cents. It's up from 30 cents. And so we're looking at every possible way to reduce our expenses and keep that as low as possible, because that just means more meals can be produced, which means more hungry people can be fed and more hope of Christ can be shared with people. So it's not just food, it's transportation. I mean, we can see it at the gas pumps. And so that hits us at every aspect or every layer in terms of getting our ingredients to and from the host locations, be it a school or church or a business. It impacts us getting it through customs and shipping it overseas. And then it also impacts our partners on the ground because prices are going up where they're living too. So their distribution expenses from when they receive the container out of customs to getting it to our feeding programs in orphan homes, they're seeing an increase. So all across the board, there's a lot of upward pressure. We hope there'll be some stabilization early in this year, but it's not out of the question that we may have to raise our meal price again, but before the end of the year. So we're watching that carefully. But one of the ways that we're hoping to reduce costs is to diversify our meal production. And so, Joseph, can you just share with everyone maybe some new meal packets that are on the horizon?
Yeah, we definitely hope to debut a meal packet later this spring that is lentil, replacing either the dehydrated beans or the dehydrated soy. Lentil is very common legume, like a bean is a legume. In North Africa, Middle East, and most of Asia. So that's primarily where we'll target this lentil-based meal. But lentil is cheaper than our bean and has more protein. So that's one of the reasons why we're looking at that. And then hopefully by this fall, we hope to add an oatmeal meal packet, because so many of the programs that we help, the kids are also wanting or getting breakfast from our partners. And so we thought we would add a breakfast meal to the stable of meal packets that we do. And then, as I mentioned on the last webcast, that we have the hygiene boost kit, which is of course not a meal, but it's a new packet that we're going to be helping meet the basic health needs of people. Those are starting to ship out within the next month. So we look forward to packing those all year as well.
Yes, agreed. Well, we're going to transition now into something that last time the feedback we got was what was really appreciated. If you remember last webcast, we interviewed our dear partner from Haiti, Pastor Maxo Antoine, and that was just a really informative update about the challenges in Haiti. And so today we have another special ministry partner from India, and his name is Johnny Sampang, and he has a unique ministry. It's completely different than what Maxo's ministry is in Haiti, and he has a ministry of healthcare to a very rural, remote part of India. And so let's listen to this interview. It's being conducted with Johnny Sampag and our Director of Field Ministries, Melinda Staples.
Today we have Johnny joining us from India. Johnny is the Executive Director of Holy Palace Christian Center for Health and Education in the Holy Palace Hospital. Thank you for joining us today, Johnny.
Thank you for having me. Hi.
Now, Holy Palace was started by your father, Dr. Rai. And when did this community of health and education, and when did this hospital start in northern India?
The hospital started in 1996. Like you said, it was started by my father, who is a doctor. And during those days, this place used to be very different. It was known for lots of criminal activities, and people were really not exposed to the outside world. They were very hostile towards, people coming from outside. So that was the environment those days.
So you came on board just recently, I guess, in the last few years. When did you take over the position of director?
2016. That's when my father, he retired. But I actually joined in 2010.
I see. Yes.
Yes.
But to feed the hunger and your father and Holy Palace, we've been partners for almost 20 years, I think. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. It's been almost 2 decades now. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the partnership, what it was like in the past with Feed the Hunger.
Well, when the partnership began, that time my father was the director, and Dr. Jill William was there. And I still remember that this community used to be very different, and now you can see buildings and things developed. But those days, it was, people were really backward in many ways, education-wise, economy-wise. Even there was no health facilities in this area. So that was when Feed the Hunger came
Your name is Holy Palace Christian Center. So is it a Christian community where you're working?
The community here, when we started our work, they were very hostile, you could say, towards the Christian community. And they were not at all welcoming in those days. In fact, I still remember I was studying in those days. A huge crowd once came to the hospital, and the demand was you need to have pictures of all the gods in your hospital. So that was their mindset. That was how they thought. They were not very welcoming, in other words. Yeah.
But I'm sure over the years, through the medicine, the help that they have been receiving, that things have changed since then.
Absolutely, yes. In fact, we have a very large Christian community. The ones who opposed, the ones who created problems, they were the ones who actually became Christians, accepted Christ, and now they are part of the church. So, and not just that, even people from other belief, other religion, they are very open to Christians now. And in fact, they are very huge support to our ministry now.
Wonderful. Now, also in your name, you have health education. So what are you doing at the hospital? What type of education are you doing at the hospital?
We have a nursing training program, which we run indigenously. So basically, we train the girls from our community, and it's a 1.5 year training program where we give them community-based nursing training programs, and hundreds of nurses have passed out till now from our institutions, and they're working not just in India, but many have gone abroad also, and they're working.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
And how many beds do you have at your hospital?
At the moment, we have 30 beds. Yes. But during the COVID, we added another 10 beds.
Wow.
To accommodate more COVID patients. Yes, the second wave was very difficult, and every other house in the village, in our community, in our area, we had COVID patients. So we were kind of, forced to add in more beds during those times. Yeah.
Has this been a very difficult time since the hospital has been open of this COVID pandemic?
Yes, it's been a very difficult times, and one of the most difficult thing was we losing one of our staff because of COVID. So she was our senior nurse. So she was attending COVID patients. We did manage to save lots of life, but we could not save hers. So that was a little hard to kind of take in. But yes, it's been a challenging, but on the other hand, it was a blessing to see so many people, get well and leave our hospitals as well.
That is very sad to hear that. I know that she was a treasure to have at the hospital. But your community, I know, has rallied around the hospital and has been supporting the hospital. And at the hospital, you not only have a hospital and a training center, you also have a church.
Yes, we have a church, and my father is a pastor now. So he takes care of the church and I take care of the organization. Yes.
During this pandemic, Feed the Hunger was so blessed by a generous donor to be able to provide you with an ambulance, I believe.
Yes, absolutely. Ambulance was a very big help. What was happening is to transport a COVID patient, the private ambulance drivers, ambulance owners were charging 4 times, 5 times more. And second thing was many would not agree to transport the COVID patients. Yes, and that became a huge issue. And just at the right moment, when we received the ambulance, it was a huge blessing. And it did make a huge difference. So really, we are grateful. Thank you for that.
And I believe we've also been able to help with, you've done some ministry outreaches by sharing Bibles and doing ministry,
Yes.
going out and doing
Mhm.
ministry. Could you share a little bit about that with us?
Yes. We were able to share Bibles we actually made sure we give Bibles to new believers
Mm.
and peoples who could not afford Bible, you know. And the New Testament Bible, the Gideon Bible, that's available everywhere, but many cannot buy a full a Holy Bible, which has Old Testament, New Testament. So we were able to give out that, and many really were very thankful, and especially the new believers, it meant a lot to them,
Mhm.
and they treasure that.
We are excited to hear that. We love it when Bibles can go out to new believers.
Absolutely, yes, yes, yes.
Wonderful.
And we make sure when we give out the Bibles, if somebody can purchase them, we don't give it to them,
Yes.
we tell them nicely, please go and buy, because it helps somebody else. But there are many in our community, because you have visited, you have seen the place, and people are poor, in the tea garden area and all. So
Mhm.
it was a blessing for them.
Well, I was so blessed to be able to be with you. It's
Mhm.
been a couple of years now right before the pandemic started. And we had
Yes,
a
yes.
wonderful dedication of a new well there on your
Mhm.
hospital compound.
Yes.
So the community comes and they are able to draw fresh water from that.
Yes. So, it's open to everyone. Anyone can come and use that.
And so at your hospital, you can perform surgeries. You have a full-time doctor on hand who can help that with the surgeries and other needs.
Yes, we have a full-time surgeon, an in-house surgeon, and we also have a full-time gynecologist. And recently, an intensive care specialist, a critical care specialist, has
Mhm.
joined us as well. And we have other two junior doctors. So we have 5 full-time doctors who are
Wow.
managing the hospital at the moment. Yes, it's something amazing. It's like a miracle. All the doctors are Christian. So,
Oh, yes.
yeah. So that's been a blessing. Yeah.
That is a huge blessing.
And they understand the ministry, and they, they carry the burden of the ministry.
Mhm.
So it does make a huge difference, because I see them sometimes praying for their patients.
We have remembered you and have kept you in our prayers, and we're going to continue to do.
Thank you. Yes, especially with the third wave coming in.
Mhm.
It's already here, actually. We are already receiving lots of calls. We have had so many meetings already with government officials, and they have asked us to start, preparing the beds, the wards,
Mm.
and expect COVID patients. So
Mm.
please continue to pray for us. Yeah.
We will continue to pray for you and the hospital.
Mhm. Thank you. We are praying for Feed the Hunger as well. We remember you and everyone there every day in our morning and evening devotions there in the hospital.
All right. I hope you enjoy that. As you know, they're doing a lot of great work in a difficult region. As he mentioned in the interview, this is a tea garden area of India. And so, if you are a medical professional, you are not going to that part of the world to build your own personal wealth. You're doing it because you're called to minister to those. And so, at first, they did face a lot of opposition, but as they came in and improved the culture holistically with fresh water, with competent and highly advanced medical care for that part of the world. They softened those in the local community, and so their testimony and witnesses made great strides there of leading many to Christ. And so it's awesome that we have a chance to continue to partner with Johnny and even his father, Dr. Rai, beforehand. You may have seen in the video when they were founding the ministry or the hospital, some banners with new directions. That was our original name. We changed our name to Feed the Hunger. about a little over 10 years ago. And so that it's just been an honor to partner with them for several decades, and they're doing great work. So glad you were able to enjoy that. I'm going to bring in now our newest member of our team. You may remember in November, we brought up that we were actively looking for a director of development. Our longtime director of development retired recently, and so we were looking to fill that position. We knew that was an important part of continuing to keep the momentum going of what God's doing here at Feed the Hunger. And so God answered your prayers through Julie Craig. And I'm going to invite Julie Craig in at this time, and we'll get to know her a little bit better. And so, Julie, I'm not seeing you right now, but I trust you're up. And so there you are. Hey, Julie. Julie, can you share a little bit about yourself?
Yes, let's see. Gosh, I'm making sure all my technical settings here are accurate. Oh, well, let's see. First of all, I want to say good evening. And before I share about myself, I want to say what a blessing it is to be part of the Feed the Hunger team and partnering with you and advancing the mission of Feed the Hunger. Thank you for all that you do to support Feed the Hunger and feeding the spiritual and physical hunger in the needy. So a little bit about me. I am originally from South Carolina, with most of my family is still in the area. I've lived in multiple states before moving here to Durham, North Carolina, and I have been here since 2008. I am married with 2 boys, 21, 24, a stepson who is soon to be 17, and a stepdaughter who is 23. Let's see, I was raised in a Christian home. My father became a choir director when I was probably in my early teens, middle school age. And he served in that position until he passed away in December of 2012. So I was just really blessed to grow up in a Christian home. And so let's see, graduating from the Medical University of South Carolina, my educational background is in healthcare. I worked in radiation therapy for years, treating cancer patients, many years before God then decided to lead me down a different path that of serving, which equipped me with a strong background in development and fundraising with Christian schools and nonprofit organizations. I've been so blessed to work with organizations that have helped me continue to grow and expand my knowledge and skills and experience. My late husband, in his company, the Clark Company, we specialized in equipping Christian schools and nonprofit organizations through our services of strategic planning, feasibility and assessment studies, comprehensive development and enrollment marketing plans, capital campaigns, you name it, and the list goes on and on. I've worked with numerous Christian schools and their families across the Southeast and as far west as Texas. Most recently, with other nonprofit organizations, I have collaborated with development leadership and teams to raise $8.9 million in fundraising revenue, supported fundraising initiatives and strategies to exceed overall projected budgeted revenue by 66%. Experienced successes with increases in overall giving by 36%, increase in online donations by 75% from predicted budget, and more than doubled year over year in direct mail campaign, and had 100% success on grant submissions for 2021, totaling over 163,000. I share this information with you as so much of development successes are measured in numbers and dollars, and I get that. However, I believe development is so much more than this. It's about relationships, connection, appreciation, building community, sharing a vision, working together to advance a mission that makes a lasting and significant impact. Because together we can achieve so much more than we can on our own. That's a little bit about me and why I love working in development. I also enjoy hiking, going to the beach, spending time with my family and friends, and of course,
Right.
the time with my crazy four-legged family members.
All right. All right. Well, we're certainly delighted to have you here. We think you're be a great fit to the Feed the Hunger family and look forward to God using you to just further the mission here. One last question. What do you see as a significant development challenge that is on, that Feed the Hunger is facing right now?
Being able to stand out amongst the numerous other nonprofit organizations who have similar missions. I think many people confuse Feed the Hunger with others and thus are not aware of what makes Feed the Hunger different. Or they confuse other nonprofits as having the same Christ-centered mission that Feed the Hunger has. I think the challenge before us is to increase visibility and build awareness around what makes Feed the Hunger distinctively different, expanding our footprint to reach more people and communities so that we can increase our impact amongst those in need, and doing so to the glory of God. I think this, while this may be a challenge, it's most definitely possible. I truly believe and trust in God's perfect timing, his faithfulness and goodness, and believe he equips each of us as needed to advance his kingdom. And I look forward to seeing what God's work in and through you and through Feed the Hunger as we work together to make a difference.
Oh, excellent. Well, we're looking forward to that too. It's exciting to see what God will do. And we're glad that you're part of the Feed the Hunger team. We say around here that it's a calling to join this ministry. And so God's called you for this time, and we're glad that he has. And thank you for joining us this evening and spending some time and introducing yourself to the Feed the Hunger friends and supporters. So thanks, Julie, for being with us.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to pull Joseph back in at this time, and we're going to just field some questions with a little bit of the remaining time that we have. And then Joseph will give us some closing remarks as we sign off. But first question, Joseph, what could be some new countries of ministry that you see Feed the Hunger maybe initiating in 2022 if God opens those doors? What's in the works right now?
Well, we're always flexible and ready for the Lord to open or close a door. And as I believe I mentioned on the first webcast, we are continuing to pray for open doors more in America, including the Native American community and along the southern border. So you can please keep praying for that. One door that may be opening here in our hemisphere is Haiti's neighbor to the east, the Dominican Republic. It's quite possible by summer we will begin shipping food and school supplies to some schools that are ministering to the children of sugar cane farms, as well as Haitian immigrants. And so we're excited about that possibility. Another location here on our side of the pond, as my dad used to say. But we still hope to have a breakthrough with shipping our food once again to Kenya. So you can pray for that as well. We've been working in Kenya, feeding children since I want to say the late 80s. And for about maybe only 3 to 5 years, we were able to ship our food. And then the customs got too insane and corrupt. And so you can pray for that to open back up again. But we continue to send funding so that these street children in the slums of Nairobi can get food.
That's right. That's good. Yeah. So hopefully God will open that door, because it's always exciting and worthwhile to impact folks wherever they are, and especially in new to us territories. Joseph, what do you see as a theme this year for Feed the Hunger in 2022?
Yeah, I sprung that on the staff with little notice, what I felt like the Lord might be. Because honestly, the first message that I felt like I was getting from the Lord this year was that it was just going to be a year of uncertainty. That doesn't mean that we have uncertainty with our mission at all. It's more like our country and world is still going through this uncertain time. What does it look like really coming out of this pandemic? But one of the things that struck me is that what Feed the Hunger is about is allowing you, through your prayers and giving and your involvement in packathons, your volunteering at the events, and then hopefully soon going with us to some of these places. But it really is an opportunity for you to put your faith in action. So we're all familiar with the passage in James 2, specifically, I believe in verse 17, where it says that faith by itself, if it's not accompanied by action, is dead. And so God expects us to put our faith and marry it with action. And so that's what you get to do in your partnership with Feed the Hunger, is to put your faith into action through the various ways that I just mentioned. And so we're kind of using that especially as a theme at our packathon this year, but certainly it applies to any kind of action you take, both spiritual, financial, literal, through your volunteering. It's just a great partnership we have with you that is so dynamic. It's not static. There's so many ways for us both to put our faith in action. So hopefully we will have a very fruitful year of faith in action in all these various ways.
That's right, indeed. So we invite you to pray with us in that direction. You know, for us, we say it here at Feed the Hunger: every meal matters. Every Bible makes a difference in the individual lives of people. As you saw at the beginning, perhaps you caught on the graphic, there were over 16,000 Bibles that we were able to distribute last year, and the annual reports has several stories of believers' testimonies of getting their first Bible and the tremendous difference that makes in their life. And of course, on the meal side, these meals sustain lives. They are an investment into the younger generation in these countries, because we're working with the same kids over and over again. And that's an investment in their future, so that they can hopefully change their culture and their society and improve it, and maybe break free from poverty. So we're just excited for you guys to partner with us in that. And as we wind things down here, just a few updates and reminders. Our next webcast we plan on doing in early May, and we'll have a specific date and time that we'll release real soon. But part of it is we appreciate your feedback, and I see that the poll has been launched, and it is open to be answered. So we'd love to have your feedback in setting that time for May. Also, just a reminder, as Joseph, I think, announced earlier, that the annual report will be hitting mailboxes soon, but it'll also be released on our homepage in the next 24 hours. So come back and visit sometime tomorrow, and you can get an early peek at that in digital form, at least. We also have in early May our Golf to Give Back tournament. And so this is a unique golf tournament in two senses. One, all the proceeds that are raised through this, we convert directly to meals. And so last year, I think God graced us with through numerous participation, we were able to do over 50,000 meals for hungry folks around the world. And so this year, it's a week long. You say, well, how can you have a golf tournament that's a week long? Well, the uniqueness of our tournament is you can participate wherever you are. You can get a group of friends together and go play golf, and there's opportunities to win prizes. You can play your favorite course, have a chance to win some prizes, but most importantly, your entry fee is converted into meals, and it's delivering hope to those that are hungry and in need. And finally, we're going to invite you to follow us if you haven't already on social media. I'm sure a lot of people tuning in today are paying attention to us on Facebook or Instagram or even LinkedIn. But we also would ask you to share our posts with your friends. We have regular content, almost daily content that's going up, and their personal stories of lives and testimonies of lives that have been touched and changed, as well as Packathon results from wherever we are that weekend, and prayer requests as well. And so we just thank you guys once again for your support and your many prayers. And as we wrap up, I think I saw one more question, and it's probably a good way to end. Joseph, what's a good prayer request that the staff has that we would invite everyone to pray about and join us in praying?
I appreciate the opportunity to share that. I imagine that Julie can attest to this from the previous ministries that she's worked with. For us, it seems like the devil tries to attack us and knock us down through our family members getting sick of some kind, or facing some kind of major obstacle. So for whatever reason, the Lord's blessed us with protection, and it seems like the devil really targets our spouses and children. And so if you could just pray for all of our family units protection on an ongoing basis, that would be extremely appreciated.
Agreed. All right. Well, we want to try to keep this in that 40 to 45 minute range, and we've landed there at this time. And so finally, I'll just close by thanking everyone for your continued giving and support to Feed the Hunger. God is using it to impact lives for eternity. We're thankful for your faithful prayers. We do invite you to pray for the ministry, as Joseph's just helped and coached in terms of praying for our families. I'll also say at this point that one of the best ways to stay in touch through of how you can pray for our ministry is we release every Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern time. We release a praise and prayer update. And so it has a few praises from the field that week that we've received from partners that said, hey, we want to just celebrate God in this. And it also has a couple of requests from our partners too, and say, hey, we want your team to join us in praying. And so it's a great way to stay in the flow of what God is doing from a week to week basis. And you can sign up for that on our webpage. It'll come up as you first land on the page, and you'll have an opportunity to enroll in that at that time. So thank you again. May God bless you guys. We look forward to seeing you next time in May, and many blessings to you. Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.